Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel, which I'll go over in just a moment. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be talking about setups in an underlying asset, and those setups can be taken any number of ways. For example, the S&P 500 setups can be taken with futures, shares of SPY, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord as well as the chat in YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. And Sparky asked, do we need the hero indicator to tell positive or negative gamma, or can we tell based on the cloud notes, or is it something entirely different? All right, so Sparky, I will cover that in just a moment. I'll also type in an answer later. Essentially, for just knowing gamma notional, all you need is the Spotgamma AM Founders Note, and I'll show you where you find that information in just a moment. All right, so my agenda for today, I'm going to cover news items, economic data and events, and earnings for the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's start with news items for the week. So it's a pretty light week as far as economic data goes. In fact, a very light week. But there are a slew of Fed speakers out all week and featuring, of course, Jerome Powell. First of all, on Wednesday, the 8th at 9:15 a.m. And then on Thursday, Jerome Powell speaks again at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so again, a number of Fed speakers all week, featuring Jerome Powell on Wednesday and Thursday, and then the only high-impact economic data coming out this week that I saw was consumer sentiment on Friday at 10 a.m. All right, let's get started with positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. So this is the S&P 500 futures in Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a look at a larger time frame. I'm going to go to the SPX chart. This is a 30-day 1-hour chart. Let me point out the turning points on this chart, or the key turning points. First of all, this is the October jobs report. Gamma squeeze after that, and price ran into resistance right around the 43.80 level. Looks like the high there was 43.93. There's a lot of resistance in that level. Note the upper daily expected move, I'll show that in just a moment, is just right around that level as well. And there were also issues with Treasury yields, war in the Middle East, and price rolled over. This is the October 20th options expiration, very negative gamma, put dominated. The expectation was for a put Vanna rally. That did not take place, or it did not more than a couple of days. Price rolled over. Then on last Monday, remember, traders loaded up on puts on Friday, thinking about weekend risk. And as it turns out, there were no new events that really would have an impact on the market, at least according to what traders and investors were thinking. VIX dropped. Huge put Vanna rally last week, and also fueled by what the market interpreted as dovish comments by Jerome Powell at the FOMC meeting last week in the press conference. And the rally continued until Friday, and it looks like it has found some resistance right around the previous level. All right, so that is the bigger picture, the key turning points, key events. All right, let's take a look at levels on this chart. So first of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. That's based on the options market. And then the dashed blue lines, and that changes once a week. I update that on the weekend, and it remains, the weekly move, expected move, remains at those levels all week. And then the upper and lower daily expected move, that changes every day. That's again based on the options market. SPX is trading within that range. Again, that's shown by the dashed blue lines. All right, let's take a look at the Spotgamma levels now. These are levels based on gamma-weighted open interest available to Spotgamma subscribers. They're shown with the dark red horizontal lines. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First is the put wall. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. Not really in play now. The next level up is the volatility trigger. That's at 43.35. That is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility trigger, or really a volatility flip level. And it's right near the 0 gamma level as well. So below the volatility trigger, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. On the other hand, above that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility, leading to smaller trading ranges and again lower volatility. And SPX is trading above that level now in a positive gamma environment at the beginning of the day. All right, the next level up is 4,400. That is the absolute gamma strike. That's the strike with the largest absolute gamma, absolute positive and negative gamma. And that is also the call wall. That's the strike with the largest net positive gamma. And that can be expected to act as resistance. So those are the key daily levels. And note the volatility trigger, the call wall, and the absolute gamma strike all shifted higher. So a hat trick for SPX, very bullish. All right, so those are the SPX levels. Let's just take a look at a one-day chart so we can get a closer look at the levels in play for today. So here's SPX in a one-day chart. And really the only Spotgamma level in play for today is the 4350. That is a large gamma 3 level, 1 being the most important, 5 being the least important. And that was also noted as support in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. And it has so far today done its job. All right, let's go to Bookmap now. So in Bookmap, I have my own cloud nodes, so I can show SPX levels. There's the SPX 4350 large gamma 3 level, support level that I just mentioned. I'm also showing SPY levels on this chart. There's the SPY 435 volatility trigger. All right, now there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. And I typically post that in Discord sometime between 9:45 and 10 a.m. along with some other ratios or index relationships. I post that in the Options-Doug chat channel every morning. All right, so there is a difference again between price in ES and SPX. Right now, or today, it's about 17 points. So the SPX 4350 is actually shown at ES 4367. All right, so those are levels in play for today. The SPY 436 level acting as resistance this morning. And then right now, the SPX 4350 and the SPY 434 zero gamma level acting as support. And we'll take a look at setups in just a few minutes. And note, again, I mentioned the gamma notional for SPX today is positive at the beginning of the day, and that leads to lower volatility, smaller trading ranges, which is pretty clear to see here, especially compared to the moves last week. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. And Shirega, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. You're welcome. All right, so NASDAQ also trading in a pretty narrow range for the NQ. About a 100-point range so far. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a closer look, first of all, at QQQ to see the levels in play for today. Here's the QQQ volatility trigger at 368 that did act as support, now may be acting as resistance. And by the way, I forgot to mention for SPY, the volatility trigger put wall and call wall all shifted higher as well. So bullish shifts higher, another hat trick for SPY. All right, so the levels in play for today, the 368 volatility trigger and the 367 level acting as support so far today. That's for QQQ. Note QQQ is trading now below its volatility trigger. All right, let's take a look at NDX. In NDX, there are really no Spotgamma levels in play for today. There's some levels down below, and a very interesting situation in NDX. Now it's not very liquid, so the levels can stack up a little bit more strangely in NDX. But anyway, the put wall is higher than the call wall today, which is pretty unusual. All right, so for QQQ, the volatility trigger and absolute gamma strike shifted higher, and for NDX, the volatility trigger and put wall shifted higher. And note, here's the put wall, 14,800. That's for NDX, and the call wall remains at 14,600. All right, so again, we're back to NQ futures. And I have my own cloud notes here, and here I'm showing the round number levels in NQ. There's the 15,250 level that acted as resistance today. And then there's the 368 QQQ 368 volatility trigger, and then the 367 level. And those two levels have been in play for today. And again, we'll take a look at setups in a few minutes. So I mentioned shifts in levels, all bullish for SPX, SPY, NDX, QQQ. I'm not showing the Russell here, but the levels, there were several shifts higher in levels for the Russell as well, Russell 2000. All right, let's take a look at gamma notional now to see how market makers were positioned on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. So what I'm looking at is gamma notional here for SPX, SPY, NDX, QQQ, RUT, and IWM. And note, now the gamma notional for SPX is positive. In a positive gamma environment, Spotgamma assumes that traders are short calls, market makers are long calls, and they have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. And that tends to subdue volatility in a positive gamma environment, leads to more mean reversion. And last week, gamma notional was gradually shifting from negative, really for the probably the last couple of weeks, but last week for sure with that large rally, gradually shifting from negative to positive. So gamma notional became positive for SPX on Friday, and then became more positive today. And just the opposite for SPY. SPY actually shifted to slightly more negative gamma, and otherwise all of these others, NDX, QQQ, RUT, IWM, all shifted higher, less negative. All right, let's see what that means now. We'll take a look at a graphical representation and get a better idea of what that means. This is the Vanna model. I'm going to start with SPX. What this chart is showing is market makers delta notional. Oops, wrong tool. Market makers delta notional on the vertical axis, and how that changes with changes in price shown on the horizontal axis. There are two curves on this chart. The first, the light gray curve, shows how market makers delta notional changes with changes in price only. The purple curve adds implied volatility to the equation. That shows how market makers delta notional changes with changes in price and implied volatility. And that change in delta with a change in implied volatility is the Vanna effect. Vanna is a second order Greek. So we'll focus on the purple curve. Let's see where SPX is trading right now. And Jay Medina asked about NQ. We'll take a look at NQ in a few minutes. I've just covered my positional analysis for NQ, and in a few minutes I'll take a look at setup in NQ. All right, so right now SPX trading right around 43.52. So let's take a look at that on this chart. All right, so that's near the bottom of this curve. So there might be just a very minor tailwind for price. If price moves higher, that indicates market makers' delta notional will decrease slightly, and they can buy back short futures. And that really, I would not even count on that. That I would discount that. So anywhere in the bottom of this trough here, this indicates a price moves higher. Market makers' delta notional will start to increase, and they'll have to sell futures. And on the other hand, if price starts to decrease, they will have to sell futures as well. All right, so that is SPX gamma notional. This is typical of a positive gamma environment. Let's just shift back a couple of days. Let me just check. So gamma notional was negative on November 2nd. That's what I'm looking at now. Went back a couple of days. So this curve with a very steep skew to the left, typical of a negative gamma environment. On November 3rd, Friday, gamma notional shifts to positive for SPX, and this shifts more positive today. So either way price moves here, there's a headwind for price as market makers have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. And this environment is, I think, better for range-bound trades like iron condors and that kind of thing, rather than looking for large directional moves. All right, let's take a look at SPY. So SPY is still negative gamma. SPY right now trading right around 434, right around that zero gamma level, somewhere around here. Very slight tailwind. The bottom of the trough right at 438. And again, I'm looking at the purple curve. Let's take a look at gamma notional for QQQ. Also still slightly negative for the day. QQQ now trading negative for the day. Right around 367 and a half, right around here. So note if price starts to decrease, market makers will have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure, and that will tend to enhance or increase volatility. All right, so my thesis for the day was looking for lower volatility, more of a range day, and really, first of all, a primary thesis based on the shifts higher in levels would be looking for a bullish day based on the shifts higher in all the levels. On the other hand, there was quite a move yesterday, and certainly a little bit of mean reversion would be in order, or at least consolidation for both a lot of stocks, and I'll show a couple of I'll show an example of that. All right, so let's take a look at some setups now. I'm going to start with the hero signal here to see what options traders have been doing today. So this is the hero signal, hedging impact real-time options, and this is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures all into one combined signal. That is shown with the purple line. And then the white line is showing price for SPX. So that's the hero signal that's available to Spotgamma subscribers. Let's zoom in on this chart. And so far for today, this hero signal has really been trending down and started to accelerate lower right around noon. Traders are taking negative delta positions. We'll see what they're doing. They're buying puts. That's been going on all day. That's shown by the falling blue line, the negative notional value there. That's what's driving price today. Pretty clear from the signal there. Traders buying puts. When traders buy puts, market makers sell the puts, and they have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go back to ES. So really the trade was at the open. If you were looking for some sort of mean reversion, looking for that at the open. Let's just zoom in on this a little bit. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. So this is about the first hour of trade. Right at the open, there was this kind of a low volume whoosh higher. Note the gaps, and then immediately met by aggressive sellers. These are volume dots. They show market buy minus sell. And green dots are showing more buyers than sellers. Magenta dots showing more sellers than buyers. And it's very obvious there, the shift in order flow. A lot of aggressive sellers come in as traders were taking negative delta positions. So they were buying puts. More aggressive sellers. ES making a series of lower highs. All right, let me check for questions. All right, Alexandra says the CVD is usually negative in ES minus 28K. Normally when it is below minus 10K, it is followed by a drop. How do you interpret these huge numbers? I look at CVD as just one signal. I don't have any stats, I'll just take your word for it at minus 10K. I don't have any stats on the size of CVD, but I look at everything. So I'm looking at hero. I'm looking at what options traders are doing. I'd look at icebergs, stops, and CVD. But that's certainly good to know. Thank you for noting that. All right, so short setup in the morning. Let's zoom back out. All right, so here's the short setup in the morning. Long period of consolidation, and then the options traders shift to more negative delta, right around 12 o'clock, and then price moves lower down to this support level. Note Alexandra noted the high number cumulative volume delta has been moving down all day. On the other hand, take a look at the stop of the icebergs. Large traders are fading this move. They're buying the move down. That's pretty typical of large traders. So we have to take a look at everything. Stop order is not really a factor today, just 617 contracts. Aggressive sellers moving price lower. Large traders with iceberg orders buying, and we saw that options traders were buying puts. So that all goes together. You can build a narrative based on a thesis and then what is happening today. All right, so that's the S&P 500. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ, very similar pattern. Let's take a look at options traders first to see what options traders are doing in NASDAQ. I'm going to take a look at NASDAQ first. This is a combined signal for NDX and QQQ. And just like the S&P 500, traders are buying puts today. That's shown by the following blue line, the negative notional value much larger than the notional value for calls, and they're also selling calls. That is also negative. So they're selling calls and buying puts, and when both of those numbers are, when both of those lines are moving in the same direction, that's a strong directional indicator. Sorry about that. That's an issue with Hero. All right, so multiple short entries just a few minutes after the open. Again, around 10:40, 10:45. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. NASDAQ making a series of lower highs. Pullbacks, all good short entries. Aggressive sellers. Aggressive buyers on the way up. Aggressive sellers. More aggressive sellers. Initial price target at the 368 volatility trigger. Price dropped sharply right around 1 o'clock down to 367. Now maybe finding support. Let's go back to Hero. Another excellent signal to take a look at here in Hero is this Magnificent 7. This is a combined signal. This is a new indicator in Hero here. Great signal, combining signals, Hero signals for Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, stocks known as the Magnificent 7. And that is also negative, trending down today. Let's see what traders are doing. So they're buying puts and selling calls, both lines moving in the same direction. Very bearish signal for the Magnificent 7. And one other very clear signal here, in as opposed to last week. Notice all the red there. These are all the stocks on my watch list. It's the Magnificent 7 plus the indices, all negative. much needed consolidation day. And Alexander, remember, the iceberg orders in the S&P 500, they were buying into weakness. That's pretty typical of larger traders. So we have to look at we can't look at CVD in just a vacuum. We have to look at everything. So overall, though, it is looking more bearish today. Options traders taking negative delta positions. As you mentioned, CVD very negative. All right, let's take a look at some stocks now. First one I want to take a look at is AMD. Note the 110 key gamma strike. Up and down today for AMD. And Hero really doesn't resolve to the downside until about 12:30. So before there were both bearish and bullish signals for AMD. This one you could interpret as bullish. That flow alert, often a good signal of mean reversion. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap. Go to AMD. So far bearish for today as traders take negative delta positions. Market makers take the opposite side of those, so they have to sell stock to hedge their delta exposure. Headed down to the 110 key gamma strike. Let's take a look at Amazon. $140 is the call wall. Let's take a look at Hero. Go to Amazon. So mostly the Hero signal today has been bearish. Note the flow alerts. As price approaches the 140 call wall key gamma strike, traders start taking negative delta positions. And now price is moving lower. Let's go to Bookmap. So often in a positive gamma environment, I will look more towards single stocks for more movement. And there were some great setups today. So there's Amazon, again, the 140 key gamma strike call wall. Not a lot of range today in Amazon. Right, the next, Netflix. Bearish day in Netflix. Let's take a look at Hero, see what options traders are doing. Let's go to Netflix. So options traders taking negative delta positions pretty much from the open. Note the floor alert there. Target at the 430 key gamma strike. And as options traders have taken their foot off the gas, they've stopped taking negative delta positions. Price has leveled off and is consolidating. Let's see what traders are doing. So they're both buying puts and selling calls. All right, the next is, or let me check for questions. All right, Shariga, sorry for the mispronunciation. What Spotgamma subscription do you have? I have Alpha. Alpha is the subscription that includes Hero. All right, Harina, sorry for the pronunciation. Are you doing analysis every day at the opening market too? No, my live stream webinar is at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, of course, I'm doing my own analysis and trading in the morning, but I don't broadcast in the morning. Don't live stream in the morning. I'm trying to start thinking about posting more setups. I just have a lot of positions to manage right now. Hopefully I'll be able to start doing that soon, or I'll try to do that more often. So that would be in Discord. So there again in the Options Doug chat channel and Bookmap Discord. All right, so there's Netflix 430 key gamma strike. Let's go back to Bookmap. There's the 430 key gamma strike. Note all the liquidity at that level. The heat map and Bookmap here showing a history of the orders in the order book. And this is pretty typical for a stock. These large orders come in at the cash open, shown with the arrow there. That's the 9:30 cash open. And they usually stay in the order book until they're filled. So it looks like they came in again and then pulled their orders just a few minutes ago. Let's take a look at Tesla. Another bearish day in Tesla. Let's see what options traders are doing. First of all, let me scroll out a little bit. And note that 225 is the call wall. And note the sharp reversal at that level. 225, the call wall, sharp reversal at that level. So that's a great setup. If you're looking for a short, maybe set an alert or something so you're notified when the stock gets to that call wall and you can take a short at that time. However you want, buy a put, sell stock, sell a call spread, buy a put spread. All right, let's go take a look at Hero. Go to Tesla. So here's the reversal at the 225 call wall. Note that very timely flow alert. Another signal for a short. Looks like there was some consolidation at the 220 key gamma strike, and then the next target down below was the 215 hedge wall. All right, Harina, you're welcome. Shariga, you're welcome. Jay Medina asked, do I have Instagram? I'm not active on Instagram, and all of my trading related posts are on X. So if you want to look for me in social media, Discord and X. All right, so very bearish day in Tesla, signaled by the falling Hero signal, reversal of call wall, and a very timely flow alert at that level. Targets the 220 key gamma strike and the 215 hedge wall. Let's go to Bookmap. $225, $220, and $215, all key gamma levels. Call wall, key gamma strike, and hedge wall. All those levels definitely in play for today. Some consolidation around the 220 level before moving lower right around noon to the 215 hedge wall. All right, let's take a look at one other stock. And there were plenty of examples like this. Let's take a look at give me just a moment. At Roku, for example. Huge move last week, along with every other stock as well as earnings. And this was well above the upper weekly expected move. So my idea was to look for a short. So let's go to Roku now, just to look for some mean reversion. So here's Roku. Note 85, the call wall reversal at the 85 call wall. So ways to play that: short the stock, buy a put spread, sell a call spread. All right, so there's Roku. Plenty of examples of huge moves last week. All right, does anybody have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Otherwise, we'll go back to the S&P 500. Looks like the S&P 500 finding some consolidation. Some support right around the 43.50 level. And the SPY 434 zero gamma level. All right, Alexander asked about AMD. Around 107. Nothing really here in Bookmap. Not much liquidity. Resting orders at 110. 109.50, 109, and 108. Not much at all at 107. Let's go take a look at Hero. Go back to AMD. Zoom in. Separate out puts and calls. All right, Alexandra, I'm not sure. You say there is a big put order. Where are you seeing that? In AMD today, traders are actually, sorry about that, traders are actually selling puts. That's shown by the rising blue line, the positive notional value here. And Alexandra asking about the market on close. That's not really something that I look at. I'm showing and talking about everything that I look at. All right, so in AMD, all right, AMD, what Hero is showing here is net for the day. Traders are selling puts. They're also selling calls, selling puts, selling implied volatility. S&P 500. And Jay Medina asks, what is the link for Discord? Let's see if we can find that. Just go to bookmap.com. And I'm not going to post it in chat over there, but you can, you should be able to find this pretty easily. Just go to bookmap.com, click more, click chat room, and there you go. All right, so I already have Discord open, but if you don't have Discord, there you go. Let me go back. And Alexandra asked, do I have my own Discord? No, I don't. Not at this time. I may in the future, but I don't now. Check NASDAQ. Looks like some consolidation now. And Jay Medina, you're welcome. Please join us in Discord. Free and open to everyone, whether you have a Bookmap subscription or not. My channel is there. There's a lot of other great content about a wide range of topics and in a wide range of languages. Let's go back to Bookmap. Let's take a look at one other thing. Let's go back to this is Equity Hub, Alexandra, and we can take a look at get some more information on AMD. Now this is going to show, this information is all static, and the static information is based on gamma weighted open interest. It's updated once daily. So this is not going to show information for today, but it will update overnight. So what we can see, look at this put and call impact chart. I'm going to zoom in on this. This is showing calls and puts, calls with the orange line, puts with the blue lines. So this is showing the key gamma strike at 110. You can clearly see the largest absolute gamma there, positive call gamma, put gamma. So that may change tomorrow. And Alexandra, the hero and gamma information is amazing. Stephen asked, Stefan asked, what's my favorite setup? My favorite setup is a hero divergence. So looking at, for example, if price is increasing, options traders are taking negative delta positions, price is moving up to a potential resistance level, let's say the call wall, for example, and options traders are fading that. As price moves up to that level, I'm looking for a short. So that's a hero divergent setup, and that is my favorite setup. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. Still support at the 43.50, 434 level. There are some more buyers coming in, shown by the green volume dot. So there you go, Alexandra. CVD has still very negative for the day, but it looks like it's flattened out a bit. So a lot of consolidation now. Options traders, hero signal is up and down. All the lines in the subchart have leveled off. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Pretty similar situation. Consolidation at a support level. All the lines in the subchart have leveled off. Let's go back to hero. Looking at NASDAQ now, leveled off. Let's check alerts, see if we see anything here. There's an alert in Google. All right, so this could be a potential setup in Goog. I have Google, not Google, not Goog in Bookmap. So this, Stefan, this would be a potential setup. Let's just say, for an example, price was at some resistance level, call wall, an absolute gamma strike, and hero is trending lower. So I would look for price to follow sometime. Stefan asks, so trend isn't your friend? No, I really didn't say that. So Alexander, here's a potential divergence. Let's just take a look. We'll scan through pretty quickly here. Let's go to S&P 500. Not really a divergent setup here. Maybe other than not the greatest example, but hero is note hero is just flat here as price was increasing, then it reverses lower. Not really the best example. Keep looking. Oh, Netflix. That was one that I talked about this morning. Zoom in on Netflix. All right, so Alexandra, here's a divergence setup for you. From the open, Hero trending lower, traders taking negative delta positions. Price pops up. Now that's not a no potential resistance level, at least no Spotgamma level there, but price moves up as Hero's moving lower, and then price responds lower. So that's the kind of setup that I like. And Stefan, if you missed that initial entry, there were multiple additional entries. Multiple pullbacks for a short. And Alexandra, you're welcome. All right, my time is up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. I love these interactive sessions. All you guys on YouTube, thank you very much. Again, I love your questions, and keep it up. All right, tomorrow, as far as I know, no economic data. We'll watch the levels tomorrow and the gamma notional. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.